What is up, guys? Back for another episode of That's Right, I Said It. First off, I just want to say I have a very supportive group of subscribers and guys who listen to my channel, and I'm just really appreciative of that. I've had several guys reach out to me and be like, hey man, it is what it is. As addicts, that's what we do. We backslide. Just remember, you're doing better than you were doing, a month ago. And as long as you're making steady improvements, then that's what matters. Your channel's still helping people to, overcome their issues with addiction and stuff like that. So just keep doing what you're doing and just keep moving forward. And I really, really appreciate you guys being so supportive in that regard. And that's important. And, that's one of the reasons I do this, is because I want to help other people and support other people, because I know it's a struggle. I'm a 46-year-old man. This is something I've struggled with all my life, literally, since I've been a teenager. So, as an older individual, if I can help some of you younger guys who are just starting to learn that, there are certain people that just struggle with addictions, and, if I can help younger guys to kind of get a hold on that and figure out how to move forward and improve in that regard, then, I'm accomplishing what I want to accomplish. If I'm able to do that, and that's why I'm doing this, and I'm glad to hear that it's really resonating with people. And again, I just appreciate the support, everybody just offering words of encouragement, and that's what it's about. And as an addict, you guys know the last thing you need is to be chastised, for backsliding or taking back steps or whatever. That doesn't do anyone any good. I mean, there's a reality that you have to hold yourself to a certain standard of accountability and continue progressing and getting better than you were the day before. There's a reality there, and it's important to adhere to that. But at the same time, you're right. No point in beating yourself up about it. One of the main comments I've gotten is, hey, stay away from the Kratom bar. It seems like that's what your backfall has been. And that is absolutely true. And I was already thinking that, but hearing you guys tell me that as well makes it a resounding yes. That's absolutely what I need to do. I want to speak on a couple of things today. And I was anticipating that I was going to end up taking a pretty large amount of Kratom yesterday, and I actually did not. And I want to tell you guys about something that I did and something that I used that really, really helped with that. I've had at least one person on my channel tell me that they're, an experienced user of Kava. Me personally, it's always been Kratom. I've never really, I've a couple of times in my past had a Kava mixture, a Kava Kratom mixture drink from one of my local head shops, but I can count on one hand the number of times that I've tried Kava. I've never been a heavy user of Kava, and because I had a spike in my Kratom use this weekend, I was thinking that I was going to have to take at least 12, 13 grams of Kratom yesterday to get any sort of semblance of good sleep last night. I just assumed that I was going to have to do that. And I actually did not. I only took about 9.5 grams of Kratom yesterday. So I'm still doing pretty well in that regard in terms of a regular taper, because again, a month and a half ago, I was taking up to 2 MIT 45 extracts a day. And at that point in my life, my tolerance was through the freaking roof. And I've had a lot of guys talk to me about that. Real is rare, 420. You're my dude. You're so engaged with this channel, man, and your words of encouragement really resonate with me. And I can tell you've got that sort of heart. You pull for people, and you like to see people do well and like to see people thrive. I'm the same way, so I feel a kinship with you, my dude. I'm the same way. And I'm proud of you because it sounds like you're still off of the MITs. And keep it right there, man, and just keep moving forward. And I'm so glad that, you know, the things I'm saying on here resonate with you and are helping you to kind of keep pushing forward in your own journey. And, you know, keep checking back in, man. I love hearing from you. I really do. And I was starting to worry about you a little bit as well. I was like, I hadn't heard from that guy in a few days. I hope he didn't fall off the wagon. And then if you had, there will be no judgment, obviously. We're all friends here, and we're all kind of here for a common cause. And I think everybody on here that I've heard from seems to understand that. You know, words of encouragement is where it's at. I mean, you got to be accountable, you know, to make sure that you're improving, but there's no need in chastising or belittling anyone. And that's not what I'm all about. And I can tell that you guys aren't all about that either. And I really appreciate that spirit about all of you. So last night, I took about between a quarter and a half teaspoon of kava, put it in about 4 ounces of water, warmed it up in the microwave about 30 seconds, mixed it around. And this is something I did about 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, literally right before I was about to lay it down. I did that. And at that point, I'd only had about 9.5 grams of kratom that day. And I'm telling you now, if I would have not taken that kava, I would have struggled with my sleep. Ever since I've come off of those MITs and began to taper down my powder, my sleep has really suffered from that, with the lesser amount of kratom in my system. And I had heard and seen a couple of videos on kava and how it really helped with kratom withdrawals and stuff like that. I'd never really put it to use, but you know, I shared the story about how I got some of that kava this past weekend from that kratom bar, which now I'm glad I did. I don't have because I was able to use that last night and make myself a little small, you know, kava drink with it. I went to sleep probably about 10:15, somewhere around in there. I finally dozed off. And when I tell you that I did not wake up at all until about 5:30 in the morning, that is in no way, shape, or form a stretch. I absolutely did not wake up until about 5:30 in the morning. And when I woke up, it was my bladder that woke me up. I had to piss. You know, I'm a person who drinks a lot of fluids. That stuff runs through me at nighttime. So, you know, it ended up being my bladder that actually, I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to fix this because I'm noticing there's a pretty serious glare on my phone. Let me see if I can back my car up a little bit to kind of get rid of that. Boom, that fixed it. All right, sorry about that. So I took about between a quarter and a half teaspoon of kava last night. For those of you who don't know, that's a root that's common to the Pacific Islands. It gets ground up and they can make it into teas, or you can mix it with some water, warm it up, stir it up in there, shoot it down. And kava, at least according to all the sources I'm seeing, is not habit forming. And it does relax you a little bit, but it's not as much of a mood elevator, a mood lifter, although it might kind of reduce anxiety. And because you don't have the same elements of anxiety floating around in your brain, it may tend to make you feel a little better, feel a little happier, because you don't, you know, have the anxiety and that negative voice in your head, you know, repeating this cycle of negative thoughts to you like a lot of us have. And so by that measure, it might make you feel a little better in terms of your mood, but it's not so much a mood lifter like kratom is. But I am telling you, that's my new go-to. Now, there's some speculation that you know, there's some talk out there that it's not good for your liver and this and that, and I have a theory on all of that stuff. You know, I think anything, if taken in excess, is not going to be good for your liver. Let's just get real. That's alcohol, that's kratom, that's, you know, anything that you do that you ingest in your body has to pass through your liver first and foremost. And if you're doing too much of anything, it's going to be bad for you. So, I think if you have, one little small kratom, not kratom, I'm sorry. If you have one little small kava drink per day, I don't think that's going to be any, thing negative on your liver. And for me, I'm just using it temporarily as I come down off of the kratom, because I'm telling you, last night was the first time that I have slept soundly in. I had one other night that I slept pretty soundly in the last over a month since I've been off of the MIT. And that particular night, I had drank a little alcohol and I had smoked a little bit of weed. Now, I didn't do a lot of either one, but I had done a little bit of each of those. It was on a weekend, and I remember sleeping soundly. Other than that, but I'm not a person who does either one of those things, the alcohol or the weed. I don't do those very often, and when I do, it's always a weekend when I do it. I stay away from that stuff during the week. And so the only time I have slept well, literally in the last over month since I've come off of the MITs, was last night after drinking that kava drink. So I am really strongly recommending it to any of you guys out there who are currently in the process of coming off of kratom, coming off of MIT extracts, trying to take a lesser amount of the kratom, or tapering, or whatever it is. Now, granted, for me, it has been over a month since I've taken an MIT, so I'm kind of free and clear of the MIT withdrawals at this point. But I have been significantly tapering down my kratom powder. And so I've been sharing on my prior videos, I'm sure you guys have seen, where I was definitely having some issues with withdrawal, especially at night. The insomnia has been the worst aspect of withdrawal for me, and I think it probably is for most people. And I've been struggling a lot with that since coming off of the MITs. Not last night, dude. Not last night. That kava took care of any sort of insomnia issues that I was having, and I slept very, very soundly. And in addition to that, and I tried to look up some stuff on this morning, but I've been at work, so I hadn't had a lot of time to do so. But in addition, I was having very pleasant dreams. I'm a person who, I don't always remember my dreams, but when I do have dreams and I do remember them, they're not usually pleasant. They're usually negative, and there seem to be some sort of manifestation of my general anxiety about the world and about my life and that sort of thing. And last night it was I mean, I remember stunning, beautiful views, like oceanic views in my dream. I remember having moments where I was, connecting with people and like hugging, some guy, and I'm not gay, by the way, but just, having this hug with some random guy that I didn't know, and encouraging him, and him giving me a big smile, and just really, my dreams were just very, very positive. And that is not common for me. I'm telling you, it's not common for me. So leave a comment down below. Let me know if you guys have experienced anything like this regarding kava. I tried to look up a couple things on YouTube to see, are there indications of what kind of dreams you might have after taking kava. Now, I couldn't really find a lot on it. And but I'm telling you, my experience with having that kava last night was a very positive one. Not only with my sleep, but I was having good positive dreams. And I was a little tired when I woke up. I'm always tired when I wake up, but by tired I mean slightly groggy. But it was one of those things, once I got up and was up for a few minutes, and by the time I had my first sip of coffee, I felt fine, so I didn't really experience any after effects of being groggy or whatever. So really no ill effects whatsoever, other than that I just slept really well. And again, I only took about 9.5 grams of kratom yesterday. So that amount was pretty low as well. So good report there. And Don't take a lot of it, but specifically at night, if you're trying to come off of Kratom, Kava might be a really good move for you to help reduce any withdrawals associated with insomnia, not sleeping, and all that good stuff. So give that a shot. Second thing is I wanted to talk about is, and I actually got this idea from the guy Joey Talks that I mentioned. If you've not checked out his channel, check out his channel. That guy goes in hard in the paint on Kratom and ways to take it, ways to come off it, ways to taper. You know, the plethora of things he talks about is just it's all in there. Just check out his channel. He was talking about grapefruit juice as a potentiator, and I tried this yesterday, and sure enough, it worked. And I want to show you guys what I did, because if you've ever tried to mix Kratom into a drink, whether it be orange juice or something else, if you don't warm up that drink and warm the Kratom up in it, you will find that it will kind of clump together within the liquid and you'll have trouble mixing it. I fixed that. Figured out how to fix that. I'm sure I'm not the first person to discover this, but I'm the first person that I've seen talk about it. So here's what you do. You take a bottle like this, any sort of other water bottle will do, that has a cap on it. Put you maybe about this much grapefruit juice. I would say anywhere from like 4 to 6 ounces of grapefruit juice in there. Put, you know, the whole idea is, as a potentiator, with the vitamin C and the citric acid that is in the grapefruit juice, those things allow Kratom and the alkaloids of Kratom to better absorb into your system when they're both in there together, specifically in your small intestine. I'm not a doctor. I don't know exactly how this works, but damn, man, it works. I'm telling you. Put about that much grapefruit juice in there, dump some Kratom in there, and I recommend, and this is a good method for tapering, cut down your dose by a couple of grams. So let's say you were planning on taking 5 capsules and you're in the process of tapering. Instead of taking those 5 capsules, take 3 capsules. Dump your 3 capsules in there and take it just like this with the top, and like shake the dookie out of it for like a good 30 seconds, to the point where when you look at it, it looks like a dark, like green sludge, and that you're not seeing any loose chunks of Kratom that have coalesced together and that are floating around in it. If you do that enough, and if you shake it vigorously enough, it will become dissolved within the grapefruit juice, and it'll be just all one dark green, ugly, nasty looking liquid. And I did that last night, and you know, instead of taking you know, 5 or 6 capsules, which is what I usually take in the evening, I only used 4. Shook it up really vigorously, and I noticed after about 15-20 minutes, I was like, wow, 4 capsules does not usually make me feel like this. I usually have to take more to get that same effect. And so the potentiators, specifically grapefruit juice, really works. And what that does is it serves to give you, it allows your body to absorb it better. So you're getting the same effect that you would get of taking more Kratom with actually taking less Kratom. And that's the whole name of the game, is to eventually come off of it. And using these potentiators to help, you know, increase the effects of a smaller amount of Kratom is how you can slowly cut it down. Using this method, today, I've only taken about 3.5 grams of Kratom so far today. So I'm actually lessening my dose by about, I'll probably end up taking about 3 capsules less today than what I did yesterday. And this method of using this potentiator of grapefruit juice has really helped me a lot with that. So I hope that is a benefit to you guys. Again, thank you for all the encouragement. I'm going to leave you guys with Well, all right, so I had one guy comment on one of my other videos. I don't remember his name, and I wouldn't want to say his name anyway, because I don't know how everyone feels about that, but he was telling me about an experience he had with Kratom. We were talking about the Kratom wobbles, and he was saying that he had drank some sort of extract, some Kratom extract, like purple drink or something he called it. And he said that it affected him so badly one time that he began to like shake and convulse almost uncontrollably. And he said to the point where he was running his car off the road. This guy said he was an Uber driver when this happens. So not to scare anybody from taking an Uber, I'm sure 99% of your Uber drivers are not high on some sort of Kratom extract, but the experience that he shared with me, I was like, wow. I've never experienced anything quite as intense as what he described. But the Kratom wobbles are a real thing, and the moral of the story here is watch how much Kratom you take, guys. Watch how much you take. Don't take more than 3-4 grams at a time of the Kratom powder. And then when you do, try your best to wait 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, as long as you can before taking another dosage. And that gives your body a time to kind of process through everything, and then you're not stacking the effects on top of one another. Because when you're taking Kratom and then you turn around an hour later, you're taking more, and then 30 minutes after that, you're popping a couple of more capsules or drinking some more MIT or whatever it is you're doing, then you end up stacking those effects on top of one another and compounding the effects to a point where you can get to a point where you're sick, you're having the Kratom wobbles, your eyes are not, tracking and following things correctly. You can get dizzy, nausea. There's just all kinds of negative effects associated with that. So again, moderate your Kratom use. Be purposeful and intentional about how you take the Kratom, and don't be intentional in just taking it like a dumbass, is kind of the point of that story. Because I've not had something that severe happen, but I did share an experience where I had the Kratom wobbles, and it was at Christmas dinner with my family. I'd been off work for about a week. I was off that whole week for Christmas, so this is back when I was taking the MIT, so I wasn't that experienced with them yet. I didn't know kind of what the limit was on how much you should really take of them, so I was taking absolutely too much of it. And like I said, I was taking them too much and too often, and the effects began to compound on one another. And by the time my family left and I laid down that night, I literally had to have my wife get behind me on the bed and like rub my shoulders and scratch my back and like love on me, and I was like, please, I just wanted her to do anything to take my mind off of what I was experiencing. And I do remember like shaking. Like, I can't do a demo of it, but literally, this guy described shaking uncontrollably, and I dealt with that. I experienced that, and it scared the hell out of my wife, man. She thought, I don't know what she thought, but she thought something bad was happening to me, for sure. And turns out it was just a negative side effect of having taken too much of that Kratom in a short amount of time. Now, me personally, I've never experienced the Kratom wobbles with Kratom powder. The only time I've ever experienced it is with the MIT. So I don't know how much of it is the actual Kratom itself, or if it's some sort of compound mixed with the Kratom that they're putting inside of the MIT, or it could be both. I'm not sure which, but I have seen other videos and other people talking about the Kratom wobbles in general. So I'm thinking it's just a Kratom thing, that if you take too much Kratom in a short period of time, it can cause you to have these negative side effects. So just be really careful about that. And I've learned that the hard way. And ever since then, I've been much more careful And again, I've never had that experience using just the Kratom powder. And again, I'm not a person who takes an astronomical amount of the Kratom powder. Again, I took 9.5 grams yesterday. Today, I'm on track to take about 7.5 grams of Kratom. Hopefully, with a little Kava drink tonight, I'll even sleep well. I'll let you guys know tomorrow how that works. But I have found, at least I think, something that really can help you in terms of specifically the nighttime insomnia and the nighttime withdrawals that you can experience when coming off of something like Kratom. So anyway, thanks for checking back in. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what kind of experiences you've had with these particular things. And thanks again to all my guys who popped on yesterday and were like, hey dude, keep moving forward, it's all good, you know, we all backslide, we're all human, don't beat yourself up, as long as you're still moving forward, as long as you're, you know, still progressing, then that means you're still moving forward, and that's really the name of the game. So I really appreciate that encouragement. Love you guys for that. And like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. All right, peace.